certain shit, but not your bustin'. Funny bitch, you frontin'. Wanna go to the top. I'm not your grinding, hold it down from the start to finish the end. After all I've been through, I'ma fucking face up. Just a fucking paper, couldn't fucking say to later, late life. Real shit, bitch. I'm about my business, gotta hustle for a living. Real shit, Southside, moving independent. With a deep boy, shiny, pretty fucking visit. Up there.
Oh man, there's so much I want to talk about. I got to get this thing right first. Excuse me. Yeah, here we go. Oh, well, welcome to another live from Races Entertainment. Races rearrange concepts, interpretation, stereotypes, and thinking. Um, here we go again. Here we go again. As you can see, I titled this "Tragedy in Frisco, Texas." YN mentality. Of course, we know that's short for abbreviation for young niggas mentality. You know, where does it come from, and what can we do about it? Um, Man, this story is so tragic, man. But it's a broader picture. You know what I mean? It doesn't just start or end with this story because I'm almost certain that we'll see this time and time again. All on social media. I try to be very, very careful with my words. Hey, tricks are still for kids. Thank you for tapping in, checking me out for a little bit. Appreciate it. I'm not gonna hold y'all long, but we see this all day, every day, man. We're seeing young kids, young black men, whether it's against each other, whether it's against. Now we see that is against this social construct, that we have called white. You know what I mean? And a white kid, and it seems like a lot of us we've just given up on this generation, and but I haven't given up. I want to find answers, But this story here is very tragic. Just a little backstory, I'll be showing a few things or what have you. They had a track meet today here in Frisco, Texas, which is, let's say, I don't know the exact mileage from Dallas, but it's not too far. I would say maybe 20 miles, 20 to 25 miles from Dallas, north of Dallas. And I don't know this particular stadium where they was having the track meet, whether it's in Denton County or Collin County, but I imagine this is in Collin County. I just picked this story up and it didn't really like prepare it for details or whatever. But so they had a track meet, and this black kid named Carmelo Anthony, and this white kid, Austin Metcalf. Carmelo's 17 years old. Austin is 16-year-old, according to news reports and other things that I've read. And somehow altercation took place between the two, and we have the 16-year-old kid, Austin Metcalf, now deceased, and the 17-year-old kid, Carmelo Anthony, incarcerated, charged with murder, and it's a tragic story, but we're going to get into that a little bit. Then we're going to get into the broader implications of not just this event, but everything else. I don't want to say event, not just this tragedy, but everything else when it comes to these, YNs that we like to call them. And, I put on there that the YN mentality doesn't discriminate, because here you have a high school kid, from what I've read about him, in Carmelo Anthony, football star, I mean, from what I'm telling, some people was like, you just couldn't see it in him, you know what I mean, to go to this extent. But then there are other posts and things that if these are actual posts, that show that, yeah, you could almost tell the mentality based off of those other posts. And I'll be getting into those as well. But we're going to get into it a little bit. I'm going to play this little clip here. And she somewhat explains what took place.
Frisco at a UIL track meet. This is the victim, 17-year-old Austin Metcalf, and according to reports, this disagreement started over a seat. It is said that an argument happened between the two students, and when one refused to leave a seat, say that is when the stabbing took place. In an online interview, Dad said after his son was stabbed, his twin brother attempted measures to try and save his life, but unfortunately he was pronounced dead at the hospital. This is the suspect, 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony. And according to the victim's father, this is the 17-year-old student who allegedly stabbed Metcalf.
For my whole life, and for it to be taken away so senselessly. And this guy was just sitting in the wrong spot, and they asked him to move. It's unfortunate, but he's gonna have to answer to those consequences.
Following the chaos, everyone was ushered out of the stadium and the track meet was canceled immediately. Now, Anthony was arrested without incident and taken into custody, and he's currently being held with no bond. Metcalf posted this on his Twitter just 2 days ago, and unfortunately, no one could have predicted such a heartbreaking tragedy taking place. Now, as we wait for more details in this case, I ask that you guys please extend prayers to...
So, basically, she summed it up, of what's being said, that it started over a seat, and according to the father, this guy he was referring to was Carmelo Anthony, was in the wrong seat. Now, you know how our minds work. What could be the wrong seat at a track meet? You know what I mean? So that's another story. I'm pretty sure more details will be coming out about that. But I also heard that, and I don't know how true this is, allegedly or whatever, that the kid, the now deceased kid, had broke the phone of Carmelo Anthony, and it escalated from there as well. So I'm not sure of the details. Like I say, there'll be more and more coming out over the next few days or what have you. But from what I see and understand about these two young men, they were student athletes, man. Both played football, both played track. Ran track, you see a post here. He was the MVP of his team, had intentions on going to college, Austin Metcalf. And say he was a pretty good kid, but tragically, his life ended today. And tragically, we see Carmelo Anthony. And this is the new life that he will begin at 17 years old, and some people may say I may be exaggerating, I may go too far, whatever, but, I just don't think that, when you stab someone, it's intimacy there. You're close. It's different than far range. You pulling a trigger or whatever. You have to have a lot of hatred and anger in you to be up close on someone and do something of this nature. And from what I hear, that the kid was stabbed in his heart, and his twin brother was actually there, and he passed in his arms. So, but like I say, it's just a tragic situation all around. And I'm pretty sure more is going to come from this. If like I know, when things like this take place, when different, let me bring up, before I go on, when things like this take place, between different races, sooner or later, the race thing starts to come out, you know what I mean? And people want blood, people want heads, you know what I mean? Before I go further, let me bring here my partner, my friend, my brother, Roy 9G. What's up, bro?
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me? I'm coming in straight?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, so I caught a glimpse of the case. So but I'm still. So who stabbed who? Did the white kid stab the black kid, or the black kid stabbed the white kid?
No, the black kid stabbed the white kid.
This was in Frisco, right?
Yeah, this was at Frisco at a track meet, and from my understanding, it just escalated. There's two versions of the incident. Some saying that the white kid told the black kid, asked him to move, and he was in the wrong seat. We don't know the exact nature of the conversation, how it went down, or what have you. And the altercation started there, and the black kid stabbed the white kid, or Carmelo stabbed Austin. Some say that Austin had broke Carmelo's phone. You know what I mean? I don't know if he threw it off the benches, as some people are saying, or not, but he had broke Carmelo's phone, and that enraged Carmelo, and as a result, we have one going to prison for a majority of his life, possibly, and the other is now deceased.
Woo. Heavy. So why is the kid carrying a knife out here in Frisco, Texas, like this? I mean, is it dangerous? I mean, it's not dangerous like that, right?
Not at all. You at a high school event, most likely in Collin County. You know what I mean? There's no danger there, but that's why I say it's what we're calling, for lack of better words, the young nigga mentality. You see what I'm saying? It's young nigga mentality, man. And I can attest to that, because there was a point in my life when I was that age, going to track meets, and a lot of my partners, they could tell a story. I was carrying guns to track meets out of town. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just stupid, young, dumb mentality. Bringing the dice, bringing the liquor on the bus, all this type of stuff. Where the rest of these people, these kids here, they going to shit, just to run track. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But here I am carrying weapons and, all this old type of foolishness, because I once had that young nigga mentality, and we know the results of that. Well, how many years of my life it cost me, and luckily I didn't do anything to anyone then, but unfortunately this kid's going to have to face those consequences, man. And that young nigga mentality is something else. And I don't want to paint a bad picture of this kid, because I don't know the details. But I did see this is actually him here being taken in cuffs. So, those steps you see there, that's the beginning of a whole new journey for him.
Man, a whole nother world. He's gonna have a real shock to his system.
And these man, my mind all over the place with this, man, because I see so much of myself in this kid, man, and I just hate it. I don't know where the influences come from. I believe that, I'm a strong believer that this rap music plays a role. But at the same time, like I was talking to Dr. Stunchy, man, he was like, man, these kids have been desensitized, man, by social media a lot too, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it all play a role. The music, the social media, them shooter video games. It's really American culture.
But, it's like, why does it affect us so much? You know what I mean? Why does it affect us so much and not others? You just don't see this rampant wildness, aggressiveness, just
well, let me ask you a question, because I was thinking about it the other day as well. So, like, we've been alive long enough to see that. I mean, there was a shift to a degree. When did it become? In what area did it become like cool to be the killer?
Man, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like Jay-Z said in a song before, shit, y'all glorified, the one to get shot, you know what I'm saying? But I glorify the shooter type shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like somewhere there was a shift to where it became cool to be the shooter, and that's being glorified. And that's always been in movies and things of that nature. But I just don't know where this shift took place. And I'm almost certain musically there was a shift. Maybe it was with the drill music or whatever.
What do you think? Wait, look, I saw an interview with Special Ed one time. He said it started. He said he said it started with NWA.
I don't know, man.
He believes NWA was the beginning of like gang bang culture in America.
Oh, definitely. That far as
The whole
yeah. I can agree with that as far as the usage of being a nigga and what it meant to be a nigga. You know what I
yeah
mean? Like
yeah
I never even heard nigga use that much
me
in
yeah me hey me either.
my life until NWA. You understand
That's
what I'm
true.
saying?
Yeah, I
Like,
understand.
so I can say the shift in the whole culture, yeah, it may have started with NWA, but they still didn't want it still didn't make you want to be a shooter or a killer through their music. I think NWA coupled with the movie Colors, I think we spoke about that before, that those two things together kind of like, okay, made a little shift in the way people, young black men were starting to think,
Oh,
had major influence. Then
all right.
you,
Like, let me give you an example too. So, like, it's so extreme today. You got kids today who are ashamed from coming from well-off families, right? Like, did you ever see the thing about Michael Irvin's son?
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, like, but that's kind of common. I'm not saying like Michael Irvin was probably the best daddy because he got his history, so he probably
Yeah,
wasn't. You know what I'm saying? But we know he wasn't. This little dude wasn't starving, right?
for sure.
He had all the trappings of upper middle class life according to his father. You know what I'm saying? He had new cars and shit. Lived in a nice house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Right. So, but I've heard this. I've seen other people talk about it. Like even they were like these like yeah like look in this warped culture we have right now. It's more respected to start from the bottom and do illegal shit to get on, and then versus like the smart kid who's just smart, maybe he's not even smart, maybe he just work hard at school, right? And goes about it another way. It don't get the same level of it's like some of us want to come out stay in the mud almost. You know what I'm saying? It's like when did it why is this black kid that grows up in this nice neighborhood with good parents, why did he feel insecure about being from a good upbringing instead of being, you understand what I'm saying? Like I don't like
I know
all
exactly.
the yeah, you got to be a gangster to be cool or some shit.
I'm telling you, I'm 90% of it in my mind is the music, which when they put visuals to it, you know what I mean? They all got these weapons in their hand and all this type of stuff. And these younger kids are seeing this, and this is how they think they become famous when they want to be
Yeah,
rappers and all this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like I had these interactions here recently with a kid, seemed like a nice neighborhood, had a job, everything. You know what I mean? But when I go look at his IG, he got weapons and what he rapped about, the ops and sliding, and all this type of stuff. So, it's the music and the visuals. These kids want to be rappers, man, and they feel like that's the way to really get put on. You know what I'm saying? And playing with people's lives, but it is what it is. Let me I don't really know for a fact, but it was some post that was made about this on Facebook or whatever. And salute, Miss Tammy, salute. And they were giving their, opinions about this kid and all this type of thing. People gonna come out and say all type of stuff, but someone had posted a picture of what's allegedly is Carmelo Anthony here. And that's supposed to be him. You know what I mean? Now, how true that is, I'm not sure. I'll look into it, but that's supposed to be him, not at school. You know what I'm saying? And I can almost believe it. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Uh, Unreleased Music Entertainment says this drill music shit cost a lot of kids' lives. Facts, man, facts. It's gonna cost a lot more, but if nothing is done about it. Salute,
So
BC Podcast. Salute. Thanks for coming over for a minute. Appreciate you.
now look, yeah, I mean it's called drill music today, but is it even like look? look, I feel like you can see over the generations how each next generation, some level of the industry perpetrated it. They made it worse. Like, for instance, this is what I mean. Like, you had the NWA era, and all that came from that, right? Snoop Dogg's and all that shit, right? Okay, but it was still like it was still a certain level of balance, right? That's why it's bigger than us. That's how I know it's bigger than us, right? Because you got white dudes in these offices. We don't run these companies, right? So they're hiring. So they're I just see Ice Cube talk about it before. He was like, some of these dudes will push the culture a certain way. I seen Rakim talk about it when. Remember Rakim was over there with Aftermath?
Yeah.
He says the reason that it didn't work out well because Dre was steady trying to have him talk about real gangsterism stuff, right? And he was like, "Look, man, I wasn't really on that in life at that time, right? I'm trying to." He became like more of a 5% rapper type. He was on some other shit. So he was like, Dre kept on trying to push me to be like gangster, 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 right? And he was like, I ain't well with that shit. All right, so boom. But you still have some balance. Look, when 50 Cent came, like that shit affected a lot too, because it was almost like Tupac had died, and that era was over, but Tupac brought some balance to the music to a degree. And then, but 50 Cent came, and that's 50 Cent shit is just. And look, man, don't get it wrong. I like some songs and I like the shows. You know what I'm saying? But I'm an adult, and I know I can compartmentalize and separate this shit from reality. You know what I'm saying? Right? Or the reality I want to live. Like, I really think a lot of these dudes, I try to emulate 50's life to a degree, right? But he's a miracle. He's lucky to be alive. You know what I'm saying? That shit is 50 Cent is a lotto ticket walking around, basically, right? Like,
but then you gotta think like these kids nowadays, they ain't on no 50 Cent. You know
no,
what I'm
but
saying?
I'm saying that's what I'm saying. It seems like it's gotten worse each generation.
Yeah, for sure.
50 took it to one level. Then the drill shit came maybe like 10 years later, or like with Chief Keef and all these little dudes, and that shit started getting like
these kids more probably on some NBA YoungBoy and all this other young rappers out of Florida, like that whole situation. Young Mace and
Fulio, and all. These
like,
dudes. They say for you to really be popular now, they really expect these little dudes to be out here in the streets for real, for real. Like, that's what's so wild about it. That's what's so dangerous about it. Because you're right, they see it as a come up.
And what's sad to me, man, is that there's no agreement far as amongst Black people that what's the problem, where is it coming from, where is it stemming from, and what's the solution. You barely can even get Black people to recognize the problem. You know what I mean? Like, they just dismiss it and go on as if these things can't touch them in some form of fashion down the line. You know what I mean? Let's see. Unreleased Music says, honestly, man, when I was in school, we had real beefs, but we knew when and where to handle that. Go and get it in at the park or in the hood. The fade got you more respect. Yeah, you must be over around my age, because they ain't try to do no fade. I was actually watching a video earlier, man, and it was a guy, he probably was in his 40s, and it was a young dude, maybe in his teens or early 20s, and the older guy was trying to fight him, man. You know what I mean? Like, they out there, he like, come on, youngster, and saying this, that, another. And the youngster walked to his car and like he's gonna get in, and shit, turn back around and start popping, pow, pow, like, damn. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference. These young guys, oh, he's 26. Okay. Well, shout out to you, man. Where you from? Because shit, these people around here, shit, this North Texas area, throughout Texas, shit, don't seem like they're trying to hit. You know what I mean?
Nah, it don't. It seems like this is a gunplay area,
and it's hard to even get people to recognize what's the cause. You know what I mean? And we see the effects. We see what's going on out here, but it's hard to get people to recognize the cause or even be concerned about it, man.
Nah, that's the thing. Like, they're not even concerned. It's been so socialized and normalized to our mindstates to hear black people talk about killing black people, it's normalized. They're not even listening to it and saying like this shit is too much. Like, look, even like, and I know I don't know if I brought up even that Sexy Red shit. When I first heard that, I was like, damn, ain't that like, ain't it kind of too much? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's no level of is there no point that that people are willing to go now?
And as long as these major corporations are making their money, they ain't gonna ever say it's too much. It's up to us to say, look, this is too much. You know what I mean? That's one of the reasons behind the whole panic thing that I'm doing. You know what I mean? People against negative images and content in rap music. And if anybody wants support, they can go to www.panic2025.com. You know what I mean? Just sign up and hopefully we can get in there, get in the group and come up with solutions. But these labels are not going to stop. I did a whole live on this maybe about a few lives back, and I talked about that anonymous letter that the guy wrote, how they supposedly had the meeting and when they wanted to make the shift in the music industry using rap because they was building the prisons and things, and they wanted to create more violence and all this type of stuff so they can fill these prisons up. You know what I'm saying? This was back in 92, I believe it was. And I could actually see that because we know the results of the prison industrial complex, what went on in. So the music companies was investing in the prison industrial complex, and that's how we got to where we are. And a lot of us losing our lives as young men. I mean, me specifically, you know what I mean? Like, shit, I lost 25 of my life. And I know how influential music was on my young, impressionable mind, or just one to have that image of this gangster and willing to do anything. The stupider that I could be, if that's a word, stupider. The more stupid I could be, the more crazy I could show myself to be. It was like a badge of honor, you know what I mean? To walk around, it was like getting respect or what have you, you know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of partners that was like that as well, man. So in my mind, I honestly say it wasn't just the music alone, but certain songs moved me a certain type of way, made me want to do certain type of thing. Let me get to this, and then we're gonna discuss. We're gonna discuss where this mentality, this young nigga mentality, comes from, and what we can do about it. Try to add some solutions. But here's a post in the GoFundMe for Austin Metcalf. His dad says, as many of you know already, my son Austin was stabbed to death at his school track meet. This tragedy is shaking me and family and friends to the core. I trust God will bring us through the tough times ahead. I appreciate everyone who has reached out. He passed away in his brother's arms. He wasn't alone, at least. I can't describe the range of emotions I am feeling. I pray God will guide our paths moving forward. So they set up a GoFundMe. It was initially trying to raise 6,000, but I believe when I went and looked at it, they had changed it to 28,000, and at that time they was up to 18,000 being raised. You know what I'm saying? So people are getting behind this, donating to the family, things of that nature. If you want to do that, you can find a link to the GoFundMe in the description of this video. But yeah, man, I think there's some broader things that may come from this. Unreleased says from Ennis, Texas. Yeah. I know what Ennis said. I used to go through Ennis when I was a teenager, driving all the way from Denison, Texas, and going up there. I had a little female in Ennis. My stepfather, his family was from the Ennis, Waxahachie area. But what was I saying? I lost train of thought when I looked at the Ennis, Texas. But I think, yeah, this is what I was saying. I think that if we're not careful, man, this thing here can turn into something racial, and because
Absolutely.
it normally situations like this, it tend to do that. And then I'm looking at the area, you know what I mean, where it happened, and this is a very I guess you could say conservative area, pro-Trump, MAGA type area, you know what I mean? I believe out in that way. So you have those individuals that was already feeling emboldened, empowered, you know what I mean? So this could really, really turn into something. People may want blood, you know what I mean? Like, and they don't care who they get it from, you know? So we have to be very, very careful, and hopefully, you know, cooler heads prevail, you know, and the father may come out more and say some things that kind of like, you know, keep things cool or whatever. But this has the potential to really blow up and be some type of racial thing, you know, especially when you have a black taking the life of someone that's white, man. You understand what I'm saying? And it's sad that it's that way, but that's just the nature of the society that we live in. So, you know, I want to keep my eyes on that, and people that's in that area or all around, man. Just stay vigilant, you know what I mean? And protect yourselves, do what you have to do, you know what I mean, to get home to your family. So I just wanted to say that, man. I do think this has potential to get out of hand and become a certain type of racial thing, because there I did a live maybe a couple of lives ago. I don't know if it may have been the last live I did on Christian nationalism, white supremacy, and fascism. And you know, these groups were preparing for race wars and all this type of stuff. So anybody want to check out that live, I spoke about this thing. So, you know, all they need is a little bit more to add into how they already feel and what they're thinking. You know what I'm saying? So, and even this weekend is supposed to be a big weekend, April the 5th. So, you know, again, I tell people just be vigilant, be careful out here with these protests supposed to go on.
Yeah, so that's the nationwide protest, the 5th.
Yeah, so you know, in these groups, you know, they, you know, all this man have to do is just put a little word out there, like, you know, he against these things, and here they come. You understand what I'm saying? So y'all be careful out here, man. We in some times that we may not recognize that they're happening, but there's people there in the know. They know what's going on, you know. So I just want people to be careful, white people, black people, whatever, you know, be careful out here in this day and age. But anyway, back to this young nigga mentality, man. I mean, it's here, man, and sometimes I'm just lost as what is the solution, man? How to even approach it? You know what I'm saying? Like, and what's crazy is this mentality is not just confined to African American or blacks, man. You understand what I'm saying? This mentality, you'll see it amongst Hispanics. You even see it amongst some of these white kids that are shaped and molded by this culture of violence, this music, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? That's why you will see them referring to each other as nigga. I just seen a video where these white kids beat up this other white kid up in Lower Oklahoma up here, and you know, shit, them get that nigga, and they beat up another white kid. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, they use it almost like
you know what I mean?
a slang word as they homeboy or whatever. Yeah,
And I always see it amongst the Mexicans and rap music, and
yeah.
whatever. You know what I mean? So I'm not just saying that a young nigga mentality is confined or just to black kids. It's a mentality, but it seems like when it goes to the extreme of gunplay and stuff of this nature, it's always us. You know what I mean? Or stat. You know, it seems like it's always us that you know. And I don't even think this kid understood the consequences, man. You know what I mean? I don't think
No, of course
he
not.
wanted to kill his kid. I don't know. I don't know what was in his head. You know what I mean? But damn, to think that this kid, you a high school football star yourself. You know what I mean? Obviously, you running track. You're like, what would push you to the brink like that? You know, to throw away your entire life. You know what I mean?
Man, he not thinking that far ahead. He his ego got a hold of him at the time. Whatever happened, of course, you know, in front of it's people out here, you know, reputation, tough guys.
And I almost fought, man. Of course, I blame the industry. I blame these rap artists. You know, I blame somebody like a CMG. You know what I mean? Like I blame all these labels and all of that, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Because they come and scoop up an artist that what they rap about is that or selling drugs or whatever. They'll scoop them up and put them on another level financially, and jewels and shows all over. And these kids feel like they can, damn, if I just keep on, I'm gonna get my big break like that. so they continue with that type of music and being influenced by that type of music. So I blame them as well, man. But I also blame myself, you know what I mean? Like, because like, damn, man, you know, you can't save everybody, but what more can I be doing? What more can I be saying? You know what I mean? To reach the parents, to get them to see the seriousness of this issue, man, you know, and I don't know, man. I don't know. And it's times, you know, it'd be like, shit, is it a lost cause? Trying to deal with this young nigga mentality, correcting it, you know, and change course, so to speak. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's definitely a labor of love because
I feel like we already went over this before, but it just keeps coming back to the same thing because we're gonna continue to see this, man. This is not gonna end it where you see some young black male throw his life away, not understanding at that age right there, you 17 years old, man. You know what I mean? You know how many kids that age came into the penitentiary system that all praise be to the creator, man, that, you know, I had a conscience, I had a heart, and that stopped certain things from being done to kids that age, from being raped, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
From being somebody bitching there, from riding and all this type of stuff, man. See, these kids don't understand because it's just the street shit that's glorified. They don't tell the flip side, these same individuals, or what it was like for them when they was in there. They just get out here and glorify this bullshit. Everybody won't in there a boss and, you know, gangster and fighting and all that.
yeah, absolutely.
Tell the truth to these kids, man. You know what I mean?
It's an ugly,
Don't step out
ugly experience.
OG. You know what I mean? Because you don't went and did some time, you know, 5-6 years over and over and over and over. You know what I mean? You ain't telling them about the people that's still in there, been in there 30 years, 40 years.
Man, yeah.
Somebody that walked in there 17 years old and they got a 60-year sentence, you know, not even going to think about getting out until they at least 47, 50 years old. You don't tell that side of the story, man.
Hey, look, no, absolutely. Look, I was thinking about one day, look, you know, I had what's considered small time, right? which is crazy when you think about, like, shit, I did 11 years, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's good, but look, Corey, I ain't even like when I find out somebody had like one of the ridiculous 100, I ain't want to talk to them. You gotta, I ain't lying. I don't even want to. We live in two different worlds. You understand? Like that dude walking around with that 90 years, like, he in a whole nother universe than I am. You know what I mean? Like,
you know how he gonna wake up one day,
man. Don't know what's gonna happen. I would, if I found out he had too much, I would cease and desist the conversation. Okay.
Look, when I first got incarcerated, bro, you know what I mean? And I had 30, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I always had to believe that shit. I'm going to do 3 and get out because my lawyer had told me that bullshit ass story. I ended up doing down to 25. But, man, dude told me, I asked him, man, I never forget him, Blackjack. I said, man, how long you been locked up? He said, 5 years, man. My heart dropped. You know what I'm saying? 5 years? You been locked 5 years, you know, coming fresh from the street, never been incarcerated. Well, 5 years is a long time, man.
Long time.
Right. You know what I mean? I was like, damn, this man right here must kill somebody. He done did 5 years, you know what I'm saying? I'm young, like, yeah, but all praise be to the creator. I had influences like that set me down and talked to me and, you know, showed me how to navigate, you know, doing time, man. And yeah, man. But everybody is not as fortunate when, like, this 17-year-old kid goes in there and man, I don't know, man. I don't
absolutely, because they don't probably he's gonna get a gang of time because it's a heinous crime, right? Yeah. Then he's super young, so they're gonna probably send him to like a gladiator farm.
Yeah,
he's gonna be it's gonna be he's finna go into a zoo.
He definitely about to hit Ferguson or Robinson out there.
Yeah, right away. It's gonna be a big. He gonna see some. It's gonna be a whole lot of YNs next to him. And some of them dudes finna be super gangster. They finna be from the streets.
And you know what I'm saying? That part of it, bro. The system intentionally sends you to places like that. Because when they put that, I forgot what they call it, PSI in your files and send it down to the state, it's statements from the county, the statements from the police, you know, even the family and they put that in the file, and that's how they, you know, do that shit. You know, when you come in orientation and all of that, you know, that's how they decide where they're gonna send you. You know what I mean? This is why they sent me when I first got. They sent me to Turl unit, but Turl was just fresh. They had just built it. It's Pulaski now where they got death row. You know, I stayed over there for 10, 11 years. You know what I'm saying? But it was just opening up, and then they brought all the bad actors from Beto, Cofield, Ferguson. They brought all the bad actors, young guys, and you know, older guys that lifelong criminals, and threw them all on Turl unit. So every single day, or at least once or twice a week, there's nothing but people getting killed, bro. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he knows intentionally based on your type of case, he got a murder case. You know, what is it, 19.03, I believe, Texas Penal Code. He got a murder case, so they're gonna send him some maximum security unit where you surrounded by nothing but murderers. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Look. I mean, it's terrible that the white kid lost his life.
1902, 1903 is capital murder, I believe. That's what Yella and them got.
It's definitely terrible that this white kid lost his life, but it's basically 2 lives lost unless he goes in here and becomes like, unless he has a strong mind, right? Because look, I heard it's worse now, right? Like you know, I had a couple partners come home recently and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's something they don't talk about on the news. You know, K2 is still out of control in TDC, right? You know that? Like they don't. It's just out of control, right? So you got to add. All right, you're already in the madhouse, and now these dudes taking hallucinogens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
uncontrollable. Like they can't get a. When I was coming out, and that was years ago, I'm telling you, I was at the wall. They was handing out like pamphlets, like, please stop taking it because it's gonna kill you. Because they can't drug test for it, right?
Yeah.
So man, like, it's essentially two lives lost, 2 young lives lost over some what we probably know is some hot bullshit.
But then when you look from his family perspective, they ain't looking at it like that. He ain't losing his life. You understand what I'm saying? My child lost his life, so I want whatever.
I understand. They want retribution. They
you know
want,
what I mean? Yeah.
Which, you know, I can't. You know, yeah. I mean, yeah. Look, it's a whole lot to ask some people to remove themselves from a situation. Yeah, but they kids and kids do stupid shit. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I almost think about sometimes like trying to get involved in some type of program or something that I don't want to go talk to them when they already in prison. You know what I mean? Like I want to.
Yeah, it's already like you already missed the opportunity to
I want
prevent
to
a
find
major
a way
scar.
to reach them, talk to them somewhere else, man. You know what I'm saying? Like before they even get there, man, because these kids just don't know what's ahead of them, man. I had this kid come in there, man. His name was Norris, man, and man, I could just see the predators. You know what I mean? I could see the predators ready to prey on them, but I could tell, man, this innocent black kid. So I start talking to him or whatever. You know what I mean? Of course, I'm Muslim, and and start talking about Islam and all these different things, and everything was cool. But he stopped going to work. You don't go to work, you get case after case after case. So eventually they took him off of the building I was on and they sent him over to close custody. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't see Norris again to maybe about a year later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there were some incidents throughout the year that, being in the Islamic community, you would hear certain things from certain brothers. Things happened. It was on close custody or whatever, and it was this thing or whatever they call now out here in society. I guess you say homosexual or whatever. But named Keisha, that a lot of people dudes was over there fighting behind and all this type of stuff, causing them to get on lockdown. And finally, we had something as Islamic service, and this Keisha shows up at Islamic service. We like, look, bro, nah, we don't, you can't come in here. You know what I mean? It's just point blank. People feel how they want to feel. There's just something that's not tolerated in our belief. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Keisha tried to come in, and I'm like, Keisha. So I go up to the front because they called me up there at the time. I'm a coordinator in the community. And man, Keisha is Norris, man.
Are you serious?
Keisha is Norris, bro. I said, Norris. He recognized me immediately, man. I ain't Norris no more. Call me Keisha. I said, what the
Man.
Yeah. Keisha is Norris, bro. Turned them out, man. So these kids don't understand them the type of things that, you're going to be facing, man. You know what I mean? Like, and I ain't saying everybody's confronted with that, because I never had a problem with no shit like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Anybody that came years later from my area or whatever, where I fell from, can tell you like how I was in the penitentiary. But a lot of people ain't built like that, ain't stiff like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just crazy, man. It's just crazy. I just hate, because I know what these kids confronting. And just
Hey man, look, it's terrible, right? And like I got blessed because I didn't have to be in one of these extreme. Listen, let me tell you about this. We telling stories. Like, after you had left, I don't know if I ever told you, I ended up working for the major for a while.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, so when I'm working for the major, I get cool with
Now, welcome to the prison story part of this live.
Yeah, but it's an ugly story I'm gonna tell you. In relation to the shit they facing, right? So I get cool with gang sergeant, right? He's funny. He cool, like he from Beaumont, white dude. But anyway, so I'm in there, I'm kind of in the mix, right? So when I come to work one day, well, it was a little situation, right? Because two GDs had got into it, right? Okay, so this for all the young gang members playing, so they in the game, they get into it in the day room, and they like, but they sellies, right? So so it's rack times, they finna just like fight in they cells, right? All right. So this how it's so diabolical type. So anyway, they get in the cell. And so look, let me tell you, I saw the dudes at different times, and the gang sergeant really filled the whole story in for me, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So after they go to the day room, they get into the room, to the cell, and they get ready to fight, right? Because they had a little altercation with AGDs. Well, one of the dudes in the cell says, "Look, man, let's squash that shit. We both in the same gang and show love and all this. Wow. So he says, I'm gonna make you. Let's drink some pretties.
Yeah.
Pretties a penitentiary drink. Get wired up, full of coffee, sugar, all that, right? Well, he drugs his pretty. Okay.
What?
Drugs his gang. This is his gang brother.
Yeah.
The other dude wakes up with old buddy violating him.
Oh man.
Okay. They get into they start fighting. CO sees it, comes in, separate them. All right. So I'm watching, what's the free world people who come in to investigate? Turn,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm seeing them, getting their little coffee, talking to them and shit, right? They investigating this shit, right? All right, well, for a while, they had them both locked up, but they didn't know who was the perpetrator, right? Because the one who drugged them, he first, they bring him first, and he said, nah, he violated me. I didn't violate him. So, they have to do the booty checks, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, come to find out, he ended up confessing, but what he tried to do was, all right, when they removed him, they took the one who got violated out first, not knowing what really happened. You know what I'm saying? Well, he's in his cell by himself. He sticks a shampoo bottle up his own.
Lord have mercy. That's
trying
crazy.
to beat a rape case. Okay? You see, you hear that Saturday in it?
You went out, bro.
Hey.
You went out. I didn't hear that last part.
I mean, this shit was absolutely insane, right? You see that insanity?
That's crazy.
Two gang brothers, he drug them, violates them, then violates himself to try to beat the case.
It's sick, man. It's sick. You know, I've seen people do some crazy stuff just trying to get out of a case. You know, and them cases became free world cases now too. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. That's
Back in the days,
they're going to the county.
yeah, you get more time. Back in the days, it wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? They just shit. It is what it is. But now, which I mean, shit. I guess thankful for them guys that have to experience that type of shit. But yeah, prisons is a tragic place, man. And I mean, it's safe to say that the end result is going to be what we see took place today, man. You know, from you wanting to be a gangster or whatever it is, you're going to end up killing somebody, going to penitentiary, or end up getting killed, man. And
so let me ask you. I do have a question too before we end up getting off it. So do you think the YNs, the youngsters, are they not really paying attention? Because you can see everything now in today's world, right? So you think they're not paying attention to the results of these activities, or they don't view the consequences as severe, or what do you think? Are they just numb to it?
I don't think they're. I mean, they definitely not paying attention to the consequences. But I was watching a video last night on Memphis, man, and these young guys, they were expressing how much they just love doing what they do, how they live for it. You know what I mean? Like to get out and have these conflicts with the ops, and so.
All right. So look, I read a book by a psychologist once. Let me ask your opinion on this. And I mean, you might be able to speak to this too. He made a point. He was like, yeah, some people do get addicted to the streets, and what they really get addicted to is the rush. It's the rush and the adrenaline rush from doing certain things and avoiding certain shootouts and getting away, and it's like he was saying it basically becomes their drug of choice. Now, what do you think about that?
I agree. You know what I mean? But I think the difference in my era, the rush was more about getting the money out the street. You know what I'm saying? Or you getting away from the police. The rush wasn't, actually having shootouts with somebody and taking somebody out, or you know what I mean? Like the rush was getting that damn money, the slick way, the fast money, or whatever. Now it ain't even about getting the bag, as they say. With these youngsters, their rush is shit. They take out one of the ops, you know what I'm saying?
And then talk about it and get some clap.
Man. And that's a totally different demonic type rush. They ain't even trying to get money to get up out the hood or none of that type of stuff. They get money to get more guns and more drugs and you know what I mean, more studio time and shit of that nature. So it's a totally different type of rush, man. But I don't know, man. Somewhere, I don't know, man. Shit. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Like I ain't gonna lie to you. I love my people, man. But God dang, man. If my fear is that it doesn't just stay within a confined group of individuals that's involved in this. Innocent people gets hurt, man. You know what I mean? Like Breon Allen Jr. You know what I'm saying? Or with that mentality, like. Even the kid today, you know what I mean? Like if he wanted to fight the white,
yeah, that shit was terrible. They should have just had a fight.
Just fight it, you know what I mean? Like fight, and then you walk away, deal with those consequences, maybe kicked out of school or whatever, as opposed to you about to get 30, 40, 50 years in a penitentiary, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn, man, how do you reach these kids, or what programs out here that and then these are high school kids though. You know what I mean? What, you go to every high school and try to talk to these kids that you can? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. I just don't have the answers, and it don't seem like too many people willing to contribute to the answer. You know what I mean? So I just
don't. It takes outreach, takes funds, like build all this stuff takes. Look, I just believe it's a financial issue. We need our own. That's the thing we haven't had yet in the Black community. We really haven't had in this country, we haven't had our Bill Gates or our Zuckerberg, right? So this major industry is created within, because that's look, because like the war, the issues in Chicago, right? All this shit all this shit that goes on in this country is they know they can prevent a lot of it, right? Musk has so much money, right? Right? He drops if that's to drop a certain level of cash and investment in the South Side of Chicago and basically employ like half of these little dudes on the street, the shit will start to change, bro.
But it's sad to say that I think that some of these kids may be beyond putting businesses and trying to get them jobs. You know what I mean? Like
some will be, but it's a big portion of them that are, idle time, right? Idle time and not a lot of options can create it can create mischievous deeds. You could it's easier to go that route. I do think some people will be encourageable just because they've been raised up on this shit for so long. They identify with the gangsterism culture, right? They want to be something that's been romanticized, right?
Yeah, for sure. Ms. Thomas said this is a touching topic. I have a grandson and went in at 18 years old and got 35 years. He so green, I can't even fathom what he has gone through. Yeah, for real. And even if, you that young and you don't encounter some of the things that we discussed that goes on in prison, it's just psychologically, you know what I mean? What it does to you, man, just to see these things taking place around you, you know what I mean? Just to see you being in a controlled environment 24/7, like everything is control. And then, year after year after year, man, and no end in sight. You know what I mean? Especially if you get in this aggravated time to where you guaranteed to do 50% of it. So you're not going home, on a 30-year sentence until 15 years. You know what I mean? Just waking up each day with that. And like he said earlier, knowing this guy got a life sentence, you know what I'm saying? You don't know what mood he gonna be in today or tomorrow. You know what I mean? Then there's so much game. I used to sit back and just watch the game. You know what I'm saying? It's so much game being thrown in your direction. You see people befriending people so they can make them vulnerable to whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, and everything ain't just trying to take advantage of them, or raping them or anything of that nature. You may be somebody that has more, may have good family support. They may see you, you going to commissary every time and you got new shoes. You got a simple thing as a fan. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they trying to get close to you so, they can reel you in so they'll be taken care of when you go to the store. All that old type of stuff there. It's just, it's a lot of psychological shit to go on in them institutions, man. I don't wish that on none of these kids, man, for sure.
Yeah, like, what's her name? Miss Thomas?
Miss Tammy.
Like, somebody had told me when I was fresh, and they were like, look, man, you don't have to be anything in here. You could choose to be bad and live a foul life, and you could choose to live a respectable life, even in here, right? So, her sons, a lot of it's going to be his choices. And like you was speaking on, like, from my experience, most of that, the violent taking, that stuff don't really, it happens, but not like it used to in the 80s. You know what I mean?
Nah, they got the safe prison and all that stuff
too. Nowadays it's really that romance game.
Yeah.
It's the cut, it's the be your support system, and then next thing you know, you see some weird shit happening. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Right. That's the shit. He got her son, he gonna have to worry about, like you say, people who might try to be his friend because he got something, it's the romance hustle. Or you got to worry about, since he's young, is he gonna fall in with the streets inside? People can fall in that route too.
Yeah.
And be super wild on the block. You know what I'm saying?
And don't let them encounter like their partners and things, people that they know, because 9 times out of 10 they gonna join in with what their partners got going on in there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
They band together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but their partner might have 3 years, 5
years.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And he got 35. You know what I mean?
she said it's hardcore because before he went in, he was reaching out real bad for the attention of his mother. He contemplated suicide about 2 or 3 times. Man, yeah. That is tough. But I don't know. Ultimately, I don't know the the full situation or whatever. But at some point, he made a decision. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of whether it's, the attention of the mother or, he could have seemed like he got a pretty good grandmother. You know what I'm saying? For you to even be here talking about him. So that attention that he wanted, he probably could have, got it from you. You know what I mean? So it's just a tough situation all around, man. But all we know right now, he got 35 years, and I don't know how he's dealing with it. But I wish him the best. If there's anything that I can do to reach out to him and see where his mindset is or whatever, I mean, I definitely do that or give him some pointers or directions. I don't know how long he's been gone, because once you're gone, sometimes you set in a pattern of the way that you do things and the way you survive, and ain't much nobody can tell you, on the outside. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. That's that situation, but he got some more life to live. He got to keep his mind right.
But anyway, man, I'm not gonna keep going on and on about these prison stories. Maybe as on the different lives or whatever, we could tell you I got thousands of them, man. Thousands of them from seeing terrible things, man. You know what I mean? Like from being in riots and things of that nature, So I got thousands of them, man. I even see guys out here capitalizing off of those prison stories. You know what I mean? Like,
it's some guys who got full prison story channels. That's all they do, talking about
but
prison stories, right?
Me, it ain't really nothing to.
Yeah, it's kind of it's hard for me too. It's like,
yeah, man.
When I talk about it, it puts me in like almost at the back. It's almost like I'm visualizing this trauma. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. I don't know how to like talk about the shit and not feel a certain level of the trauma just from being that shit weighing on your mind every day while you're in there.
And then it's such a gratefulness, man, that you made it through. You know what I mean? Just the whole mental aspect of dealing with that place, and you still have your sanity and out here doing things, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys
I've seen some brothers go crazy.
Crazy, man. Literally go crazy. You know what I'm saying? So all praise be to the Creator, man. You actually out here, and it didn't affect you to the extent where you just comatose. Because you can see, they say the recidivism rate is shit within 3 years, motherfucker normally going back. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well, shit. I mean, you still out here. All praise to the Creator. I'm still out here. So
I ain't going back.
Whatever you did in there to reform or transform the way that we thought or whatever it was, it worked. You know what I'm saying? So I'm grateful for that. But anyway, to recap before I get out of here, man, the tragedy in Frisco, 17-year-old kid stabs a 16-year-old kid. 17-year-old kid, Carmelo Anthony stabs a 16-year-old kid. What's the boy name? Austin. Yeah, stabbed him. And 17-year-old kid charged with murder.
Tragedy.
16-year-old kid, man, is Austin Metcalf. The 16-year-old kid is deceased, man. So we're gonna see what happens from here. And like I said, I do expect, based off of things that I know and how people think, you know what I mean, when it comes to these type of racial things, man, you can expect, God forbid, don't blow up into something like that. But I would ask everybody to be vigilant. Oh, I didn't see you, Miss Tammy. Hold on. Where you at? I didn't see you back here. Try it again. Let me drop the link again. Yeah, but people need to be vigilant and just be aware of what's going on out here, man. We living in some very turbulent times, man. And it's sad that we have to keep addressing what's going on right now with these young black men, man, when these times are just so
turbulent,
man. You know what I'm saying? Like it's sad, and our people are taking it as a joke, man. You know what I'm saying? Whereas people around the world, they're preparing for all types of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, but here we go.
Market crashing.
We got Thomas R. Teal says, I'm from Frisco and coach in the district. Prayers to Austin's family, devastating stuff in the community today. Yes, definitely prayers to the family, Mr. Teal. If you like, you can hit the link and come up and express your thoughts and feelings about it. You just hit the link here where it says StreamYard, we'll bring you up. If you have any more details or any solutions to maybe stop this type of thing from happening again, we definitely would like to hear what you have to say about it. How you doing, Miss Tammy?
Hi, Farago. How you doing? Salute to the gentleman on the panel.
I'm
Yeah,
good.
it's a touchy situation, Farago. I've always been that GG, but when I've done I tried, but due to other circumstances of how the mother felt about me, I wasn't allowed, and he's been out. It's a touchy subject. He's been out since he was 15 years old. And one thing about me, I am that grandmother. It doesn't matter. And she knew that these grandkids was my everything. And I didn't know that he was in there until somebody on YouTube told me. I'm not, and this due to this baby was put out at 15 years old. Come to find out he was sleeping in cars, abandoned cars, and all this stuff here. And he met this young lady, and they had a baby. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
And he felt like that was the something that filled the void that was inside of him that that he wasn't getting. And um when when things wasn't right with him and the girl, was one incident. He was at Parkland Hospital because the baby was born at 6 months old. He was on top of Parkland Hospital building saying that he was going to kill himself. And I had just lost a grandson to commit suicide.
Mm.
He ain't built like that. He's I mean, so the baby gets out the hospital, and I know I'm probably all over the place. And because they felt like he had a mental issue, they wouldn't allow him around the baby.
Take your
So one
time.
night he called me. I was in Irving working, and he called me. He said, "Gigi," he said, "I'm hungry." I said, "Where are you?" And he said, he was in Irving. I said, "Well, I'm in Irving." It was 4 o'clock in the morning. I'll never forget it. I get up, Virago. I didn't think about my safety. All I was thinking about was my grandson, because I knew some of the stuff that he had went through. I went to an ATM machine at 4:30 in the morning and got money out to give my grandson. When she found out that I had got in his back in his life, because they're gonna find a way to get in contact with me. And She snapped him up again and acted like she was trying to show him love and turned him against me. Put him on YouTube. I'll never forget it. Saying that he don't know why I was doing the things and saying the things that I was saying. That hurt me to my heart. Next thing I found out, my grandson is on the news channel. He going and trying to rob a pawn shop.
Mm. Mm.
My
How long?
grandson
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
in Tarrant County, and I already knew when they say Tarrant County, I already knew what was going to happen.
How long has it been gone?
Um, a year,
Oh man.
a year, and um, he was in Tarrant County, I think, for like 3 years before they gave him his time. He never had an attorney. And when I found out through, you know, somebody else.
Yeah.
And that was Queen. And he never had an attorney. He had a court appointed attorney. Now, my thing is that you can get on YouTube and say you shit money.
Mm.
I there's and we know that your this baby has a mental issue. 35 years Virago, I can't imagine.
Yeah. And it's probably
And
aggravated.
it is aggravated.
Mm.
He was on the news.
So have you
He
been
was
like
on
with him?
Go ahead.
Have you been in touch with him? Like, far has he reached out to you since going to TDC?
No, I'm afraid. You see, this is a pattern and walk that I had to go through with all three of my kids. All three of them was locked up at one time. All three of them was locked up at one time. So this is a pattern that my body is tired,
Mm.
and I can't. It's hard to imagine when you know them kids, when you know what they built of, when you know. Do you want to know what he has experienced thus far? I think it'll take me over, Farago.
Now, I have an idea based off of the things, I mean, you shared, but I want to say this though, you know what I mean? Uh, you say you haven't been in touch or whatever, and you tired, and I get that, but I can tell you still have like, I mean, you love your grandson.
I do.
And one letter, believe me, one letter, but a letter that's truthful, you know what I mean? Whether it's saying, look, I'm tired, I love you, I'm here, I'm not gonna promise you anything that's gonna be consistent, right, or whatever, but I want you to know this. You know what I'm saying? One letter like that can really, really change. And I know from experience, he'll take that letter and he'll read it over and over and over for years. You know understand what I'm saying? So just expressing how you really, really feel, you know what I mean? In one letter, that letter could be something that totally, totally changes how his time goes. Just to hear he got mail, like mail call, you know what I mean, what can make a difference. So if you can do that, find yourself.
Hey, and look, I think this illustrates that, we don't think about the strain that incarceration has on. Well, let's not talk about the strain that incarceration has on these people, loved ones, they family members. So you got really two families majorly affected with this, what just happened in Frisco, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like her grandson, like that's a drain on everybody who loves him when he's incarcerated, and they kind of dealing with,
Mm-hmm. Facts, man. Facts.
regrets and missteps that we all make in life.
But yeah, Miss Tammy, I mean, that's I ain't trying to give advice, but I'm just saying from a person incarcerated perspective, then you get that one letter like that, and your grandmother. I lost my grandmother while I was incarcerated, and that was my heart. But when she was able to, before that, she would write me, send me $25 whenever she could, and stuff like that, man. And man, it made my time a whole lot easier, even though I had other support. You know what I'm saying? But just that letter from grandma, man. And then when she passed while I was incarcerated, I had to make a decision. You know what I'm saying? Like, am I gonna trip out and just say F it, because that was my heart, that was my world, you know what I mean? Or am I gonna live up to the standards that she would expect of me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that one letter could really, really make a difference. I'll just say that.
That you know what, Farago, and I show you gratitude for that. I appreciate that, because sometimes when you're dealing with other situations, it's still kind of the pain still is there from losing one grandson to suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when he saw what my other grandson did, maybe he thought he was going to get the attention, you know, um, from his mother. And what you telling me right now, it means the world of difference. I will do that. I would do that because they know I love them without a doubt. And I was just, before all that happened, I was like, hey, Gigi door is always open no matter where she at. You don't have to do that. Come on, I want you to come out. And that night, that morning, I told him, I said, you're welcome to come home with me. He was like, Gigi, my baby is here. What? She's still in the hospital. And I'm sorry. Sorry about that, baby.
Okay.
But I wanted him to come with me then because I knew everything he went through.
Well, show him that, you know, your door is still open. Those gates, barbed wire, fences, and all that might be closed, but Gigi door is still open. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
the door to your heart is still open. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that'll help him a lot. You know what I mean?
And I'm talking about Farago, talking about a talented kid. You know what I'm saying? All of my grandkids are, and we was coming home to my hometown, like where we at, and they all like to ride with me, and they, some might get in the car. We going home for a family function or something like that, and this kid sitting up here got music on his playlist that Farago was way back in our time. And this kid, he probably at this age 15, 15 no, about 14, 15, listening to the deals.
Mm.
He got a playlist that he's mixing up his music, and I'm like, he's like, me, Gigi, you ain't got nothing. Let me show you something. And I'm like, boy, what you know about that? You know what I'm saying? Sam Cooke and all them old. He's like, Gigi, this is my passion.
Mm.
And now on his playlist had anything to do with rap music.
Hmm.
Listening to what's the little twins' name? Um um them twins, what's them twins' names?
I don't know.
They got them thick mustaches. I can see them, their faces.
They sing
Yes. It's some old school music.
H
Oh,
Town.
who?
You talking about H Town?
No, no. This is old, like back
Oh,
there. Yeah. Dang, I can't think of
80s. You talking about the Barge?
who.
The Barge?
Nah, man, we're going way back. The Whispers.
Oh, the Whispers.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
my time is time.
yeah. That you said that was before your time,
Yeah, that's for my time.
but you see, and I'm like, boy, what is you doing? Where you get? How you know about this? He 14, 15 years old at this time.
Oh, he an old soul then.
He was an old soul. And the way he had that music mixed up together is something that you wouldn't think that the kid at that age would do. Nothing had to do anything with any rap music. But I'm glad that I normally run from stuff like this because I don't want to imagine what my grandson is going through. But it made me get through a milestone and have a better look. If I could pay to pull him up out of there right now, I think any amount of dollars I would do it because he don't deserve to be there.
And it's crazy. They don't address the mental health part. All they see is the crime that was committed and throw them in a place like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, man. I had a high school buddy. He was diagnosed schizophrenic. Now he committed a heinous crime, but they forgot about him. No, let's say this: black people don't get the benefit of
No,
the psychological defense much. The other folks do, right? At times,
no.
but black people as a whole don't get that benefit. So my buddy got like 35 years, and and then
And
they had him on what's it called it? You know what I'm talking about? What's the drugs?
Thorazine.
Yeah, they had him on Thorazine the whole time. He's a whole different person. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
but
definitely gonna drug you up. Shit.
yeah, but your
but I would
grandson, like he could be he still has action to live a healthy life. He just has to maintain, his moral sense of confidence while he's in there and make a decision on who he wants to be.
And I think a letter from his grandmother, you know what I mean,
I know it will,
make a difference.
Veronica.
Yeah, definitely make a difference.
I know it will. I know it will. And you're right. I never, when you got so much stuff else, other things on your mind, and it's like, can you imagine how I felt when I seen it? When my baby was reading that out to me, and she was like, "Mama, he got 35 years."
Yeah, I know. Who we?
That
Tragic.
was like taking a whole nother child away from me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But I thank you for telling me that, and I'm gonna sit down tonight and do that. I
Wow.
am. I'm gonna do that because they them kids is my world.
Well, I
But
appreciate you. Go ahead. I'm listening.
but you cut off on us last night. We don't know what happened, but I was fit to drop you some jewels.
Yeah, you know how Queen is though. She get the goddamn. But my
No, it
phone is.
wasn't Queen. That was your phone.
Yeah. But I'm just saying she goddamn me. Had me all day long on the damn phone. Shit, I'm tired of my shit. But
Yeah,
I mean, I appreciate you coming up, telling, sharing the story with us. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
I'm
But
glad that I
that helped me though. Really, it really did. Like I say, we can get on some bullshit sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah, yeah,
we can fight. We can go to the war, back and forward to war with each other. But we know in real shit, that's what that is.
been doing it for
Reach
years
one to.
on this YouTube.
I,
Been about what, 4 years,
yes,
four
we
years,
have.
yeah, back and forth. But
Yeah, we do. But man, I'm
let me
glad you
say this.
came up with this channel. I really am because no matter how many you got in here, somebody's listening. And if it's if you can reach one, teach one. You
For
know
sure.
what I'm saying? Because they think you on just some bullshit when I know what type of person you is. I peaked that the first time you ever hit this panel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And let me
But
say this, Ms. Tommy, like,
yeah,
if there's
I'm here.
anything that I can do as far as, if I get his name and number, whatever, and reaching out to him, giving
I can't.
encouragement.
You was breaking up.
I said, if
Farago,
there's
you
anything
were breaking
that I
up.
can do, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
If there's anything that I can do as far as getting his name and number or whatever, and Jay paying him to give him some encouraging words, or just to get a feel for, like, where he's at as far as his mindset or whatever, then I'll do that as well.
Okay.
It don't cost nothing to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would appreciate that because man, I'm still hurt behind my other grandson. And if I hear anything that I can't handle, I think it'll take me over, Farago. Really. And I would
But
appreciate that.
yeah, I definitely do that. I definitely do that. But anything
Okay.
else y'all want to say for I get ready to get out of here?
No, man, you just thank you, man. Gratitude, baby. Gratitude. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I had your phone number, but my phone did a reset. So, I don't have it anymore. So, because I was gonna give you them jewels, you know what I'm saying? But
Oh yeah, yeah. Let
and
me tell Roy about it. She one of them ones that's conscious of what's going on, and the whole look, man, this stuff is bad. Might need to get out of here type thing. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
I'm
oh
talking
yeah,
about like really on it type of. Ain't just talking about it
I
type.
am.
Yeah,
I am. I got one thing stopping me from it, and that's that visa. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
yeah.
you know.
This the one I was telling you about last night that I said that done traveled and
Oh
stuff like.
yeah.
Yeah, this is him. This is him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Salute, my brother. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Hey, help me. Because look at here. The only part about it is that long flight. But you know what I'm saying.
Man, but
But
look,
hey,
everywhere not far. Everywhere is not super far. You can hit the
well,
Caribbean. You can hit these Caribbean islands or somewhere. You know what I mean?
no, baby, I ain't trying to go there.
she already got her mind set on the place and did research and everything, man.
Oh yeah, land, house, everything.
Yeah,
I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's that serious though, for real.
but
Man, do you know that what hurts me to the core is that our people are not seeing this. They think it's not going to touch them. They really think this. If you can get up, Farago made a valid point. Y'all around here taking this money, these tens of thousands of dollars, and going getting implants and BBLs. Hell, what you think that's gonna do? You gonna starve to death, and all that shit gonna go to waste. You better take that money and go get you a passport. And if you get a passport somewhere, you make sure you get the visa. Do you hear me? I'm so adamant with mine. I didn't pay just the regular price. I wanted the expedited passport. I paid 130 some dollars for my passport.
Which
I'm
is
for
definitely a
real.
necessity in these times. Cause look, as this shit progresses and gets worse and worse, if it does get worse and worse, I mean, Might need to go on a vacation and never come back for a while. You know what I mean?
At least 4 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why I'm thinking that. And in the process of why I got that done, you know what I'm saying? This shit over here, what I got over here, this is paid for. When I want to get up and go and get away from stuff, I got a house I can go back to that I ain't
Uh,
gotta pay nobody for. You know what I'm saying?
that's nice.
I done the research. We paying taxes on land over here, something we will never own.
Yeah. In these other countries, you could buy one time and you never have to pay no.
Never, never.
Well,
Then
tomorrow, go ahead. I'm listening.
and then on the other hand, if you got if you business shabby, make you fi- open up something. Open up something. My mindset is set up on a lounge. Okay, I've done the research. What do people like to do? Most people, when they get off of work, they say like to go to a lounge, have a cigar, have a drink. That's where they make the biggest money at.
Mm.
Well, well, look at here. We paying $2, almost $3 for a bottle of water when they pay 2 pennies for a bottle of water. Huh? We around here paying $10 for a 12-pack dozen of eggs. Huh? They pay a penny for an egg. Are you serious?
Well, on Thursdays, I started last week. Thursday, USA Thursdays, where different things that have been going on over the past week. As far as this administration, government, and all that type of stuff. So, y'all say them Jews, and if
I
God
got
willing,
you.
you come
I
up
got you.
tomorrow and you can share this insight. And things I might have missed that happened over the past week. In the direction this country is going. So,
Hmm.
I'll definitely, God willing, go live tomorrow about
So, Farago, do I need to put my number in back here for him to reach out to me about that visa?
no, just give it. Well, I get it from Queen. I get it from Queen.
Okay.
Yeah, I get it from
Okay.
Queen. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. I'm serious, man. You know I'm be on your top. You
No,
know what
no,
I'm saying?
I definitely get it from Queen and send over all the information and everything that that I have.
Okay. And what's his name up here?
Roy,
Roy. Roy.
I don't know. He might have stepped away for a second.
Okay. Okay then. Yeah, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. That is crazy how what we was talking about, the man right here on the panel. That's
Yeah,
all right.
for
That's all
sure.
right. Okay. Well, I'm gonna say salute to you again before I go always. You know what I'm saying? I love listening to you, man, because you're never too old to get jewels. You know what I'm saying?
For sure, for sure. I appreciate you coming up, Miss Tim. Be here tomorrow.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about a lot of the stuff that's going on, and I know you got some insight. Be able to contribute to some things that I might have missed in the direction that this country is going.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey Corey, give me a holler real fast when you get off.
For sure, bro. For sure.
All right. Thank you.
All
All
right,
right.
bro.
All right,
All right.
Roy. I'm looking forward to talking to you, man.
All right, for sure. You too. We'll get up.
Okay. All right.
All right.
All right, y'all have a good evening.
Salute, gentlemen.
Salute. Salute. Yeah, just a quick recap before I get off of here. We was actually talking about it at the beginning. The 16-year-old kid, Austin Metcalf. I hate refer to race, but white kid was stabbed by a 17-year-old kid, Carmelo Anthony, in Frisco, Texas, at a track meet. Allegedly, it started from Carmelo, the 17-year-old kid, the one that's incarcerated right now, charged with murder, being told that he was sitting in the wrong seat, and some others say that, his phone got broke or something, but whatever it was, it enraged him. And I don't know if it was a knife, pencil, pen, or what, but allegedly stabbed Austin Metcalf, the kid, in the chest, and the kid passed away from his injuries. Both of them seemed like they were good kids, student athletes. It's just a tragedy all the way around, but there's broader implications, is not even the word, but this is broader. It just shows a mentality of that I see in a lot of young black men, kids, you know what I'm saying? And I was questioning, like, where does this come from and what can we do about it? And, ultimately, I don't even think we reached a concrete solution to it, but, it has to be small steps to try to, at least reach some of these kids, man, before it's too late. This kid's 17 years old. You're going to have a long road ahead of him incarcerated, and I've been there. I know what it's like. So we talked about those things, the things you see, the things you may encounter while you're incarcerated. And I don't wish that on any young kid, who I truly believe that, being a football player, running track, at a track meet or whatever, never thought that his day would end like this. And I'm going to get out of here. I mean, I appreciate everybody that tapped in, checked it out, and we'll continue to do things like this to bring some type of attention to things that's going on, not only amongst Black people, but in society in general. But again, I tell everyone to, be aware, be vigilant. Sometimes situations where you have Blacks and whites and there's some type of encounter and someone loses their life, it could explode into something even bigger, man. And that's not what we want to see, you know what I mean? But, you can't always deal with life the way, what you wish for. You have to deal with what's really going on, So be vigilant and be careful out here and hug your kids, man. If you have kids, hug them, let them know you love them. No matter how old they are, your grandkids or whatever, hug them, let them know you love them. Let them know, interact with them, see what's going on with them, how they feeling, what they thinking. Don't get so caught up in what you have going on to where you don't, you ignore them, because there's a lot of pressure on these kids nowadays, man, being bombarded with all these type of false images and social media, music, peer pressure, all these type of things, man. They're actually, we would say growing up fast, but they're actually going backwards fast, man. And I believe that this is very calculated by those that's in power. And this is the type of the results that they want, man. Young Black kids or kids in general, man, losing their lives, getting incarcerated. And another way for them to say that, eventually, hey, we got to put an end to this mentality. So I can see things coming from this to where, law enforcement, government officials or whatever, like, okay, we got to prevent this type of thing from happening, because I've seen this president use examples far as the illegal immigrants, as if all illegal immigrants were doing things, but they'll pick out certain things and use that to start some type of movement in this country or to get, society on their side to clamp down on certain things. So I can see something of this nature being used, man. It's sad, but it's true, and we see what's going on with the clamp down on these different street organizations throughout this country. That's predominantly Black, not just these Mexican gangs or El Salvador gangs or Venezuelan or whatever. So there's a lot going on right now. And tomorrow we're going to be discussing that. I do a USA Thursday. I don't know exactly what time right now, but we'll be talking about that as well. But I ain't gonna hold y'all any longer. I appreciate everyone that tapped in. Thank you, Ms. Timon. Thank you, Roy, as always. Thank you, Queen, for tapping in. Pistol Pete, MMK, everybody that tapped in, man. Salute. Y'all enjoy y'all evening, and each one teach one. Y'all stay safe out here. I really, really appreciate everything. Y'all just tap in. Peace.
Baby says she want me, but you can have it all you want, but feeling lonely. I got what you need, oh baby girl, you feeling on me. They sex, oh my God, it's feeling lovely. Feeling your body like goddamn. Oh, she my rock, she my mountain. She got me feeling sensations that I never thought I'd feel, baby, tell me is it real love? Mami, ¿qué tú sientes? Baby girl, la nada you want. Mami, te quieres hacer mi reina y estoy en el calle la cuando veo las porque yo te amo. Tu cara, tu cuerpo, tu mente, tu marea. Sabes que si tenemos planes, vamos a amanecer en mi cama. Y quiere que me exijo otra vez. Y si yo no estoy ahí, llámame. Cuando nos fuimos, contrólate. Mami, que you do that, yeah.
Little baby says you want me, but you can have it all you want, me feeling lonely. I got what you need, oh baby girl, you feeling on me. It ain't sex, oh my god, it's feeling lonely.